Super Bomberman 3, my personal favorite out of all 5 Super Bomberman games on the Super Famicom. This game's amazing. Let's check it out. The story of this game is that after the 5 Dastardly Bombers were defeated in Super Bomberman 2, they ended up in a landfill of such, and Professor Buggera, or you can call him Bugler, the main bad guy behind all of this, he resurrects them, revives them, repairs them, and then sends them off to 5 different planets within the Bomberman Nebula, Bomberman universe. And so on each one of these planets, there's a super computer mother chip, and they dismantle it, and they take the 4 pieces of it and split them apart, scattering them, and it powers down the network. It's up to White Bomber and Black Bomber to restore the mother computer chip and defeat Buggera once and for all. There's 5 worlds in this game, 4 levels in each world. Each world has one of the pieces of the computer chip, and so these levels could just be 1 screen, 2 screens. Sometimes the level will go on to a 3rd screen. And so, just like classic Bomberman fashion, you kill enemies, you collect power-ups, destroy soft blocks, travel through different terrains. But on here, you don't really have to kill the enemies unless you want to get points. The main objective is to destroy these red buttons. And once all of the red buttons are destroyed on that screen, you'll either progress to the next screen and a path will open, or the veil protecting the mother chip, the computer chip, will break, and that's when you collect it, and that's how you beat the level. So you don't necessarily have to kill all the enemies unless you want to. You have all the good, amazing returning power-ups like the heart, you have the power glove, the remote control bomb. They have the power bomb on here, which I don't remember if they had it in Super Bomberman 2 story mode. I don't remember. But basically it's like 1 bomb that's like full power, so it blasts that whole row that it's in. Similar to full power. You got the bouncy bomb. You have like the desserts that give you extra points. This game is very generous with lives, just like the first Super Bomberman. So once you hit like 9 lives, it won't go past that, but this game is so generous with lives, you know, I don't see anybody getting a game over. This game has the new addition of the Louies. So the Louies are Rouies. They are a kangaroo with special abilities. So you have multiple colors. Each color has a different ability. So when you're playing these levels, randomly, you might come across one of these eggs. You just jump on it and hatch one. The green Rouie, or Louie, has a super speed ability, so you can like dash across the row super quickly. The blue one, I believe he comes with bomb kick built into him. The yellow one, he can kick soft blocks and move them, so that's actually really, really useful to like trap enemies, or say you're trapped or something, you can like kick a block out of the way to get out of that situation. Very good for strategizing. You have the brown Louie. He basically has like the built-in line bomb ability, where you can just lay a bunch of bombs in a single row all at the same time, which is kind of risky. And then you have the pink Louie, which I believe he can jump over soft blocks. So my favorites, I like them all, but probably the green one and the yellow one and the blue one, I guess. I don't know, I like them all. Once you beat all 4 levels in a world, you'll fight the boss, one of the plasma bombers. The interesting thing is, in the previous game, Super Bomberman 2, you would fight the plasma bomber, beat him or her, and then you would fight their second phase, which they usually get into like a mech of sorts, like some sort of big robot transformation. But on here, it just goes straight to the second phase, so I think it's interesting. It's kind of like the first game, where you just fight like the big boss, but I just think it's interesting, because like in the second game, you fought them and then you fought the second phase, so yeah. The boss fights on here aren't hard. They're a little challenge, but it's nothing like, oh my gosh, you know, good fun challenge. The level design on here is very, very good, very fun, and the enemies that they added on here can be kind of tricky to deal with. Especially at the end of the game, some enemies will just like camp you. So, and you're gonna have to like take a hit to get out of those certain situations, because like they just will not leave you alone. They just will not go. But if you have like a heart or even your Louie, which you can sacrifice to take an extra hit, that's the only way you're gonna get out of there. So if I had to say something bad about this game, which is not really bad, just like the AI can just be BS. They'll just stay right next to a block you're right next to and just will not go. The music on here is very good. Honestly, I think it's the best out of the whole Bomberman, Super Bomberman games, out of all 5 of them on the Super Famicom. The second game and the first game, their soundtracks were great, especially like the second one. But I think the third one just tops it. Especially like before you go on to another level, like that music that plays, that's really, really catchy. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is that this game is very similar to Bomberman 94 and Mega Bomberman on the Genesis. So I believe this game came out in 1995, and so obviously Bomberman 94 came first, and then I'm not sure when Mega Bomberman came out on the Genesis, but we all know Bomberman 94 came first. So these 3 games have very similar, like they all involve you getting a piece of a computer chip, shattering the veal to grab it, and hitting the buttons. They all have different music, but they all visually kind of look the same and share the same like gameplay mechanic process. But I feel like Super Bomberman 3 is unique in its own way, and I like it better than Bomberman 94 and Mega Bomberman. Even though Bomberman 94 does have some amazing songs, like the Slammin' Sea and the Jammin' Jungle. Even like the volcano level on there sounds really, really good. Once you restore the mother chip on each planet, Bugler's ship will come down, and you board it. You're gonna go through 6 floors just to get to him, and then you fight him. And so he has 2 phases. The first phase, he has a force field around him and he'll throw some bombs out. Once the bombs blow up, immediately place the bombs around him. So he takes like 3-4 hits, maybe 3, and then he'll transform where he will fuse with all the Dastardly bombers, and he'll become this like giant mech with all their abilities combined. Honestly, it's not really hard, but when he uses the Pretty Bomber tracker bomb, where it just like follows you and then blows up, you gotta be careful with that. Because that was the only time I died in this whole game. And I took a couple hits getting to the final boss, obviously. I've lost a couple Louies, and I got hit once and I lost my heart. But other than that, this game is a very good balanced challenge. It's not like BS, it's not stingy. I don't know why the second Super Bomberman was so stingy with lives. But then it's like for the third game, they just went back to like, oh, here's a bunch. After you defeat Bugler, his spaceship self-destructs. White Bomber gets out of there just at the nick of time and goes home to celebrate. After the credits, though, we do see that Bugler is still alive, and he's probably plotting his next attack. It wouldn't be a Bomberman game without the battle mode, so let's look at that. The battle mode on here is just like the previous ones. They have lots of stages to choose from, and each stage has like a hazard to it. So on certain stages there's like a gimmick, you know, like this will push you if you walk into it, or you can like move these certain little blocks, and it really just changes like it could change the outcome of the match if you strategize it well and plan accordingly. But some stages have different items. Like some stages you'll get like a power glove, where on other ones you won't. Stuff like that. There's also 5 characters that you can have in a match. So they had like the multi-tap back in the day. Super Nintendo, Super Famicom was like 2-player, but you can use that to get 4 players. But on here there's a 5-player mode. So you want to do that? There's that. But what's interesting about this game is that it's kind of like Street Fighter 2, where when you're choosing a bomber, there's different region bombers you can choose. Like you can choose like a Russian bomber, and it'll say they're like from Russia, or you can choose like an American bomber and that, and they'll be like stylized in that like kind of culture. They'll be like dressed like that. So that's very unique, and I like how they did that. And you can like choose different colors for each one from those regions too. But very unique and creative. I like that a lot. PK Bomber returns, and so that if you win, say like a set of 3 matches, you'll be eligible to do the PK Bomber. And so you kick the bomb at an item, and you'll carry that item with you into the next match that you have. So like, oh, I got a bomb kick. Okay, so the next match you play, you'll have that already built into your character without having to actually pick it up. So that's nice. You know, they had that in the previous game, Super Bomberman 2, but it's like a roulette wheel. Overall, this is my favorite Super Bomberman game. I love the box art. I didn't even talk about the box art. The box art is just so epic, and I love it. The music on here is great. The gameplay is just super fun. The controls are tight. Everything about it is just amazing. Besides it being very, very similar to Bomberman 94 and Mega Bomberman, besides that, and some later stages, enemies just like trying to like camp you. Besides that, it's an amazing game. I love it, and definitely go play it. I'll see you next time.